4 signs that you're already in the 5th dimension. There comes a moment when we rise above the noise of the world, a moment when we stop reacting like prisoners of circumstance and instead stand as sovereigns over our own minds. That, my friend, is the first sign that you are already walking in what many call the 5th dimension. It is not a place of fantasy, nor some distant realm. It is the elevation of perspective. It is the rare power of seeing life not as chaos, but as order unfolding. Epictetus once said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of things." When you begin to understand this deeply, not just with your mind but with your soul, you have already stepped out of the ordinary world and into a higher one. We, the few who seek mastery over ourselves, no longer live as slaves to anger, jealousy, or fear. We watch these emotions rise within us, but we do not kneel before them. We command them, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." To live in this state is to walk in silence while the world screams, to remain steady while others collapse under the weight of their own illusions. It is to carry peace within, not because life is gentle, but because we have forged an unbreakable core through fire and discipline. 4. When pain turns into power. The 4th sign that you are already in the 5th dimension is when suffering no longer breaks you but refines you. Most people run from pain, curse it, or let it make them bitter. But those who rise higher begin to see pain as the blacksmith's hammer, shaping iron into steel. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When hardship arrives, we no longer ask, "Why me?" Instead we whisper, "Forge me." In this state, the storms that once drowned us now baptize us into strength. Betrayal, loss, heartbreak, they stop being prisons and instead become the very doors to resilience. When you no longer fear the weight of pain, but carry it like armor, you have already stepped into a higher dimension of being. You are untouchable, not because life stopped hurting you, but because you stopped being ruled by hurt. If this message spoke to you, stand with us, subscribe, join this journey, and let us walk the path of strength together. 2. When silence speaks louder than words. The second sign that you are already in the 5th dimension is when silence becomes your greatest weapon. In the ordinary world, people fight to be heard, to shout their worth into the void, desperate for recognition. Get exclusive content and deeper insights. Join our membership today. Link in the description. But we, those who have ascended inwardly, realize that true power does not need an audience. It radiates without noise. Seneca once wrote, "He who does not prevent what he can prevent is as much at fault as if he had commanded it." In silence, we choose not to waste energy on petty disputes, gossip, or shallow battles. We no longer respond to provocation with fire, but with restraint. This silence is not weakness, it is command. It unsettles those who seek to control us, for nothing terrifies the manipulator more than a soul he cannot provoke. When you begin to recognize the profound strength in saying nothing, in letting your stillness expose the vanity of others, you are no longer bound to the noise of the lower world. You are walking in higher ground. 3. When you detach from the chains of possession. The third sign is when material wealth, validation, and the constant hunger for more begin to lose their grip on your spirit. Most people measure themselves by what they own, how they look, or how others perceive them. But in the 5th dimension, the measure of a man is his mind, his character, his discipline. As Epictetus taught, Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. When the loss of money no longer shakes your peace, when betrayal does not destroy your foundation, when solitude feels like freedom rather than punishment, that is when you know you have transcended. You have stepped beyond the cage of worldly illusions and into the rare state where nothing external has the power to enslave you. We who walk this path learn to detach without becoming cold. We engage with life fully, but we are never owned by it. That is the quiet strength of the fifth dimension.